Sometimes I think my real talent is in attracting bad men.
Well, good ones are hard to find.
They called her the Queen of Comedy, the woman who could make America laugh until it cried. But behind the bright lights and standing ovations was a moment so raw, so painful, that Carol Burnett has refused to relive it for nearly 5 decades. It wasn't a failed sketch or a bad review, it was a betrayal by someone she had trusted for years. A co-star who crossed a line no one expected. The fight nearly ended their friendship. And the show itself. Who was it? And what really happened? Backstage, stay with us, this is a story you will never forget. Carol Burnett was born on April 26, 1933, in a crumbling hospital in San Antonio, Texas. So poor that her birth certificate did not even list an address. Her parents were already deep into alcoholism. By the time she was 4, the drinking was daily and the rage was frequent. She learned to hide under beds to escape the shouting. When her parents' divorced, drunkenness and neglect cited in court, Carol was just 6. Her father moved to Los Angeles and drank himself into an early grave at 47. Her mother never fully believed in her. When Carol said she wanted to be an actress, her mother responded with the cutting words, "You can always write, no matter what you look like." Instead of crushing her, those words lit a fire. Carol and her half-sister Chrissy moved in with their grandmother in a tiny, windowless room at a rundown Hollywood boarding house. Rent was $9 a week. The bathtub was down the hall, shared with other tenants, and mice ran across the floor at night. Dinner often came from the kindness of neighbors. Yet, in that poverty, Carol found ways to create magic. She invented an imaginary twin sister named Karen, changing outfits behind the building and re-entering as her own double. She perfected the Tarzan yell on the rooftop until the neighbors and sometimes the police came running. Movies became her school. For a dime, she sat through double features, memorizing timing, audience reactions, and the rhythm of a scene. Her grandmother would even swipe toilet paper from the theater restrooms because they could not afford their own. In those dark theaters, the seeds of her comedy were planted. Music brought moments of peace. Her grandmother played piano, her mother picked up a ukulele, and together they sang songs like "You Are My Sunshine." Those nights gave Carol the confidence to sing in front of others, and the spark for the musical sketches she would one day create. By 1954, Carol was a UCLA theater student, broke and unsure of her future. One night, instead of a final exam, her professor had students perform skits at a faculty party. Carol made the room roar with laughter, while quietly slipping cookies into her purse to take home to her grandmother. She was approached by an older man in a suit, a wealthy shipbuilder from La Jolla. His offer, a $1,000 loan, no interest, no contract, so she could move to New York City and chase her dream. The only conditions were that she repay him within 5 years, keep his identity secret forever, and if successful, help others in the same way. Carol shook his hand. She dropped out of UCLA. 4 years later, she was starring on Broadway in Once Upon a Mattress, earning a Tony nomination. On the exact due date, she paid him back in full. She kept his name secret for the rest of her life, but quietly funded scholarships for young performers, passing the kindness on. Her big break came on The Gary Moore Show, where her cleaning woman character stole scenes week after week. In 1962, she won her first Emmy Award. That same year, she starred alongside Julie Andrews in Julie and Carol at Carnegie Hall, watched by over 17 million people. By 1967, CBS offered her a sitcom called Here's Agnes. Carol refused. Thanks to a rare clause in her contract, she could create one season of anything she wanted. She chose a variety show, something no woman had ever hosted in prime time. They doubted her. She proved them wrong. The Carol Burnett Show ran for 11 seasons, won 25 Emmys, and became one of the most beloved shows in television history. It was warm, unpredictable, and built on real connection, starting each episode with Carol answering unscripted audience questions and, if asked, delivering her famous Tarzan yell. She created unforgettable characters like the Charwoman, the perpetually fretful Eunice, and outrageous parodies like Went with the Wind. But in 1977, something happened on set she has never been able to rewatch. Harvey Korman, her longtime co-star, began lashing out, humiliating guest stars Tim Conway and Petula Clark during rehearsals. Carol, known for her kindness, had enough. She confronted him in his dressing room, and he physically shoved her into the hallway. Slamming the door, it was a breaking point, channeling the toughness of Joan Crawford and Barbara Stanwyck in her mind. She marched back in and told him she had already called his agent. He was fired. Korman begged for one last chance. She gave him a week to behave. He did, and never slipped again. Their friendship endured until his death in 2008. Carol would later say that moment didn't just save their bond, it saved the show. Behind the laughs, her personal life was crumbling. She divorced her first husband, Don Soroyan, in 1962. The following year, she married producer Joe Hamilton, father of 8 from his previous marriage. Together they had 3 daughters, Carrie, Jody, and Erin. Carrie, her eldest, was bright, talented, and by 13, addicted to drugs. The family endured years of rehab stints and relapse before Carrie finally got sober, staying clean for more than a decade and helping others do the same. In the early 1980s, Carol Burnett was facing one of the most difficult times in her life, her painful divorce from Joe Hamilton. But the split didn't just end their marriage, it also damaged another treasured relationship. Her bond with Vicki Lawrence, her longtime co-star and breakout star of Mama's Family, began to unravel. When Mama's Family moved into syndication under Joe's control, Vicki chose to stay on the show. For Carol, still grappling with the emotional fallout of the divorce, this decision was too closely tied to her ex-husband. She stepped away not just from the show, but also from Vicki. The break between them became personal. One evening, Vicki's young son answered the phone and said, "It's Carol." Hoping to speak with her old friend, Vicki asked if Carol wanted to talk to her. The reply stung deeply. "No, she wants to talk to Dad." That moment stayed with Vicki for years as a painful reminder of their distance. It took time and Joe Hamilton's death in 1991 for the two women to begin mending their friendship. Slowly, they reconnected, and by 2023, they were closer than ever, even reuniting on screen for Palm Royale. But just as one relationship was healed, Carol faced a devastating loss. In 2001, her eldest daughter, Carrie Hamilton, was diagnosed with lung cancer that soon spread to her brain. Carrie, who had overcome addiction as a teenager and built a promising career as an actress and writer, fought with courage and grace. On January 20th, 2002, at just 38 years old, she died from pneumonia brought on by the illness. Carol was shattered. The two had been co-writing the play Hollywood Arms, and completing it became Carol's way of honoring her daughter's voice. Carrie's words, "Every day I wake up and decide today I'm going to love my life," became her mother's daily inspiration. Carol has also been a fierce defender of her name and legacy. In 1976, she sued the National Enquirer for falsely claiming she had been drunk in public, winning a settlement after years in court. In 2007, she sued Family Guy for a sexualized parody of her charwoman character. The court ruled against her, but Carol insisted it was about principle, not money. Ask her about luck, and she'll smile. For her, rain is a good omen. It poured the night she got her first agent, on her Broadway debut in Once Upon a Mattress, and the first day of filming The Carol Burnett Show. Each time, the rain brought magic. Not everyone thinks her comedy style has aged well. Some younger viewers call it corny or too obvious. Carol herself says comedy has shifted toward shock value, something she finds boring. But her fans argue her warmth and wit are timeless. At 91, she is not slowing down. She played a pivotal role in the final season of Better Call Saul and returned to comedy in Palm Royale. Her reason for still working is simple: "I want to have fun." From a neglected little girl inventing a twin to escape her reality, to a trailblazing woman breaking television's glass ceiling, to a mother holding her daughter's hand through the darkest days, Carol Burnett's life has been tragedy plus time, the very formula she once said makes comedy. She showed us that laughter can heal even the deepest wounds, and that hope can shine through any storm. If Carol Burnett's story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful journeys of resilience and joy. Thanks for watching.